sick beats.
I thought so too.
I'm just kidding.
Hello, everyone. How are we?
Yeah, good. Here we go.
Very well. I mean, it's good to see we have a full Melbourne team here tonight. Apart from one, I guess.
Scattered
I'm
around
Aussie.
as we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also, we should acknowledge the fact that, first of all, we've got you back, Bailey.
I'm here. I'm
first-
virtual. I'm virtual, but I'm also here in real life.
Yeah.
It's a start.
How long's it been since you've been on a virtual with us?
About a year, I think. I don't know. Probably about a year.
It was before I started.
Same time last year. Gathering.
Yeah,
gathering last year, September last year.
Yeah,
They don't have
fantastic.
the internet in Europe, huh?
No, well,
Not
the
since
was more the
Brexit.
time zone. It was more having whiskies at 8 a.m. wasn't really my thing.
And we should also acknowledge the fact that we've got our new member experience manager, Zach Stanley, on board with us today.
Hello, hello. Good to be here for my
Welcome, Zach.
first.
Yeah. First and definitely not the last. Yeah.
Good to see chat.
Yeah. Everyone's on early. Everyone's ready to go.
Oh, look at this. This is
It's
great.
good to see Corbin and Dave and Dov, Betty.
Everyone shows up
Well-
for basic.
Dov, I'm right here. Oh, where's Bailey? Yeah.
It's great to see everyone. All right. I think we might as well get cracking and bring in Krsna.
Welcome,
Hey.
Chris.
Krsna, how you doing?
Good. I was going to put my name as Brown Bailey, but I refrained.
You need a man bun for that.
Need longer hair, mate.
Yeah,
That's fine. I'm man. Being a brown guy, I never have to worry about losing hair, so it's all good. You know, I don't need to grow it out, ponytails and all that shit to prove shit. All good.
Oh God.
It's easy
Off
as.
to a flying start. Good.
Absolutely. Oh well.
And yes, hello everyone. Welcome and thank you.
Now,
That's cool.
this is obviously everyone's most looked forward to tasting. Well, one of many of the year, but this one seems to be the one that goes absolutely gangbusters for us. And it's all down to your chocolates, Krsna.
Oh, thank you.
Well, this is actually, I've got to say, well, probably for Zach as well, this is my first time actually getting to sit and go through these with you as well.
I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to it. I hope
mine
you
as
are
well.
too.
Yeah, I'll just do
Absolutely.
a shout out to,
I've been
to the
looking
team
out.
as well. I had this is actually, I had nothing to do with this. I just want to make that really clear from the offset. This year was entirely it was Adam and Lockie leading this. I mean, this is so this is just cool that I'm just a participant on camera today. Really, this is great.
I want to also
It's a sympathy
highlight,
chocolate.
this is
Yeah,
all
yeah.
Adam. I just did the
Yeah.
packing and sending. And obviously I did a pretty...
Which is giving the people. But yeah, it was April. Started this lineup.
Yeah.
With the
Just super
We're
quick.
breaking up
Am
so
I
much.
the only
at the moment,
one
I'm sorry
that?
to say.
No, it's
Yeah.
right here.
Sorry, Adam.
All good. Well,
I won't talk. That's fine. No, that's fine. No, it's fine.
It's a drink.
No. Yeah.
I think it's cutting out because Adam's complaining that Matt's gonna find the right moment to pinch his glory for setting all of this up and doing all the hard work.
Again, I had nothing to do with
That's why you
this.
can't
Yeah,
hear.
look at it. Yeah, there you go. See, even just by the hand gestures, I figured it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Krsna, in case anyone hasn't joined us for this before, including myself and Zach, you want to introduce
Sure.
BASIK Chocolates for us?
Of course, absolutely. So I'm Krsna. I'm the chocolatier and also the owner of BASIK Chocolates. Our focus has always been about sort of a path towards mastery. I don't think I've quite reached that yet, as much as everyone's bestowing that. I'm very grateful for the praise and the feedback, but I think it's still a long way to go. My obsession is about flavors, and I think that's part of the ethos with the type of eclectic ingredients that we use, as well as just kind of showing a breadth and a full scope for everyone of how far you can actually go with chocolate, to kind of add on to the experience. When it comes to pairings, which is the other side of that obsession, my firm belief is that if BASIK's ever involved in some kind of collaboration from a pairings perspective, our job, we're the ultimate wingman. So our goal is to find a way that we can elevate what's in your glass with what we do, as opposed to kind of, sort of taking over the sphere, because I think, I think you get a lot of collaborations in general in our industry where it's very polarizing on one side or the other. And I think the reason why we've been able to have successfully done this over 6 years, and consistently too, I think is predominantly because there's, I think there's a very clear understanding of, where we are standing on both sides, and then we just get to kind of meet in the middle and bring the best of both, right? So, pretty much as Corbin said, it's the line. It's funny, we're missing a bald guy with glasses to say that line as well. Matt, give us your best AD impression.
No, I can't do AD. I'm sorry. AD is pretty unique.
Yeah,
he is.
No one
indeed. But yeah, so and that's basically what we do. So I'm very, very grateful to be here as always. I'm very excited to share some of the new ideas and new creations and new pairings. Pretty much everything here is brand spanking new. I know we've done some interesting flavors in the past. So all I ask from everyone, if you got any expectations, just empty your mind out and absorb today for what it is, because I think that's always the best bit, is being able to kind of just have a very fresh and clear mind when you try something new, because then that way you're not kind of finding a bias within, and you'll have a really good time, and you'll be able to appreciate each one for what it is. So yeah, thank you.
fantastic. Thank you, Krsna.
Looking
No
forward
worries,
to it.
thank you.
Yeah, should we start with the first dram?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I'll let you guys do your introduction, so I can, as Matt and Adam knows this will be the first time that I try the pairing before I narrate for you guys. So, cheerio.
All right. 6 years, huh?
Dunny's nougat.
Yeah.
Donny's nougat. Yes.
I have the bottle here.
This is probably one of my favourite heresies we've ever done.
I've said that as well myself. This is definitely I'd say my top two, if not my favourite as a whole. I think it's one of the best balance of cask and spirit that I've seen out of the heresies. It definitely also speaks to me as my palate specifically.
All right, so which
Krsna, when
which
you're
which
tasting
group,
these,
yeah.
do you usually have whiskey first, chocolate first, back and forth? How do you usually do it?
I'm gonna walk you through the whole process. I'm having a moment. All right, so for everyone that's watching through the night, I'm going to do a bit of a narrative experience with everyone. If you're unfamiliar with this, I'll prompt you sort of a mock version of how we would run each one of these pairings. So always at the very beginning, when I start introducing and talking about the flavors, I'm going to invite you right at the beginning to have a little sip of your dram. This is just to coat your palate. Don't worry about notes or thinking about any of the flavors per se. And then after that, I'll tell you which chocolate to pick up. And I'll give you a countdown of 3, 2, 1. At that point, you'll bite half of the chocolate. Now, I just want to make it really clear. When you bite half the chocolate, so this will be chocolate number 1, which is the pink chocolate, by the way. You'll be kind of biting it this way, don't bite the top because they're double layered. So always kind of bite that way, if that makes sense. Cool?
Yes, let's do it.
And at the halfway point, as it starts to dissolve, I'll prompt you guys again to finish the rest of the chocolate and then take a bigger sip of your dram together. And that's how the night's going to go for every piece and every pairing. Ready?
Ready, set, go.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll tell you guys about the pink chocolate that you're holding in your hand. So it's got a milk chocolate shell. Top layer is a vanilla bean gel that's been spiced. We've got nutmeg, cloves, and star anise. Okay, and then the next layer is a white chocolate ganache, but this is a Japanese ginger syrup from our favorite friends over at the Good Grub Hub, which we've featured lots of ingredients for. So without further ado, please take a sip of your whiskey. I'm going to prompt you guys to bite your half. 3, 2, 1. Please bite half your chocolate now. My favorite part's the beginning, right? Because Danish Nougat's a bit more of it's a blend, if I'm not mistaken. So you get a little bit more of that less complexity, but you get a little bit of that fruitiness. There's Tahitian vanilla to amplify a little bit of what's in the glass. You notice your back palate is kind of a bit more chewy because of the milk chocolate. And right about now is probably the perfect time when you'll feel a bit of the warmth from the ginger syrup. So I prompt you now to please finish the rest of your chocolate and have a bigger sip of your whiskey together, if you can, please. Do that as fast as possible as well, because you don't want to kind of lag back. Now you'll start to notice the warmth of the ginger, right? It really comes alive. And you'll also notice sort of in your mid palate as well, you'll be salivating like no tomorrow because of the little bit of the salt, the milk chocolate chew, very much like that ginger coat, ginger lollies with the chocolate coat on the outside. Really simplified, but it doesn't kind of overpower the whiskey either because it's quite delicate, I think, as a blend. And it's a bit more on the softer side, but you notice a little bit of those other spices that I mentioned from the start are kind of now sort of circulating and percolating around the palate too. But yeah, just really simple, easy to understand, but then we'll kind of this is to kind of open your palate up a bit for the next to come.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I think that did it for me on the second go. Am I still breaking up, by the way?
No, you're good.
No, you're
No,
clear
it's
now.
very clear. We got
Awesome.
you. How good.
Yeah, that was great. I think for me, the second time around when I bit into it first, then had a sip whilst it was still swashing around my mouth, that sent me, as they say.
So the spices are quite short on this one because I think in the past I've done some spiced flavors, but most of the time it's always in a ganache. So the filling that's at the bottom, that softer filling, is what we call a ganache. So usually there's cream and butter and some other sugars and things like that involved in order, and then it's obviously emulsified. So you've got fat as a carrier for flavor.
Yep.
Whereas with this one, because the spices are in the gel, the vanilla is still a higher focus. So you kind of only get remnants of it as opposed to it overpowering. Because if it was the other way around, and say it was like a ginger style gel of some kind and whatnot, then all we're going to get for the rest of this profile is just the spice overtaking the whiskey, which is something that I really just didn't want to be the direction, especially for something to start off with, right, in terms of an opening.
Yeah.
I think
That
it worked
balance
really
is
well with
definitely
that.
struck.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with that Danish Nougat, which is all about that intricacy and that balance of spirit oak and very delicate and like that elegant balance of that spice and that vanilla, sweet, fatty kind of thing from that ganache is really well done.
Thank you. So yeah, the ginger syrup is really cool. So we featured a lot of good Grubhub ingredients. There's a couple of other cool funsies later that when we get to some more weirder flavors. But this one was, as per usual, they like sourcing some incredible producers out of Japan. These guys use, I didn't even know this until I learned about this, but apparently when you make ginger syrups, most people would either do a cold style press or they do a hot style press. Yeah. And leave it up to the Japanese in terms of the ethos for finding perfection. These guys have found a way to do both so that they could get, so there wouldn't be any kind of tannic sort of bitterness that comes off from that extraction and that pull. I think they've also used some type of a native lemon called Satuchi lemons, and also some beet sugar to kind of sweeten it. So it's not got a lot of sugar. It's probably, I think, about like 3% or 4%, but I'm assuming that it's just to keep it as a syrup. But it's very, sort of clean expression. I guess that's why I used it, because it's really nice.
I love that you brought up the fact that you used a native kind of lemon, because each region around Japan has their own native citrus, whether it be lime, lemon, orange, whatever it might be. Everyone knows of yuzu, but there's so many different native Japanese citrus fruits. There's a really great savory one. I think it's called sakusha from down south. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because we've done Mikan Mandarin on this on previous. We've done Mikan Mandarin. We've done yuzu and sudachi specifically from Ito Farms.
Sudachi is also fantastic. Yeah.
Sudachi is a lot of fun. I think it's just that floral note, right? And there's a kaleidoscope I think that we can pick from the SMWS arsenal that could literally just play on flavors in any direction when you want to play with sudachi. So, it's a lot of fun. We can go on for that for days.
All right. Should we move on to the next dram and the next chocolate?
I reckon. What are we drinking next?
So the next one is going to be, I guess, something that one person in this chat is very familiar with.
Zach, tell us about
it. Yeah, so this is one that I picked for gathering.
No, please, don't let me hold you up. No, this is a gathering bottling from last year that we're so in love with. It's just got this. I remember tasting a few samples of this cask when we first were discussing what to do for gathering. And this one just stood out because it had that sort of lovely sort of distillate forward, honeyed sort of. I've lost everyone. I think you're all here somewhere.
We're all here.
Yeah. It was very distillate
Use
forward.
Use the force,
Matt. Who's controlling this anyway? Very distillate forward. Really quite like lovely example of the spirit. And are we saying distillery names tonight? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a huge, as in like this. There's not many people out there who could say that they're like this is their number one distillery. Like, not many people who say it's their favorite distillery of all time. It's a bit like saying it's one of that line. If you meet someone who says that their favorite distillery is Cargo, they're probably a serial killer. So it's like it's a bit like this in terms of like, it's an interesting distillery. I won't get into the technical details of mash filters and other nonsense at the moment, but what we could talk about is that it was just honey and milk chocolate and like churned butter and sort of a bit of spice to it. And I loved what the cask did to this. It was full maturation, I think, first fill bourbon hoggy. And it's just lovely. Just a 13-year-old first fill, lots of rich sort of cask influence, but still so distillate forward, which is just my pick of gathering as a result.
And one of my favorite parts of this bottle, Matt, is the fact that so many people thought this was a peated spirit.
Yeah,
because it's got a slight coastal tinge, even though there's no. It
does,
peat.
Yeah. It's got this weird sort of like coastal sort of malt thing going on. Maybe there's a bit of sort of like whispers of peat in it. I mean, there'd be like all whiskies of this ilk could be 1, 2, 3 parts per million or something. But it's the fact that it does shine a bit in the spirit. It's not there, but it is there at the same time, which is it's a lovely complex. It's very complex for a 13-year-old whiskey. I'll put it that way.
This particular distillery is famous for having a really dry, spicy edge to it, which can also sometimes, if it's really highlighted, be perceived as that kind of phenolic peaty element.
Just and Corbin, that's true. This is Bailey's cask. This is one of my casks. Seriously tasty chocolate, says Paul. And so I'm just going to say, rhymes with fanatic, sort of. But generally, when you find a rhyming word, it should rhyme with an actual word. We'll just say that this distillery rhymes with orange.
Yeah. Also, one of the most unpronounceable distillery names.
Yeah.
But I think what's even better than the Beneficence of Bees is the name that Krsna has given to this chocolate that pairs with it.
Wasn't really a lot of creativity in that one, I can tell you that now.
You don't say.
Take us through it.
I'm trying to find the colour of the.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay, so if this helps, every chocolate except for the black one is colour matched to your bottle colours.
Oh, okay, great.
If that makes sense. Right, so the pink for the dunnage, the purple for this, festive cask coming up afterwards. Correct, that's it. Happy days. So this one, now we get into...
Why is mine so much smaller than yours?
New member.
All right, so the beauty about this, this is I gave you guys something easy to start off with. Now the fuckery begins. Let's kick off with some wildness. So this is all on white chocolate as well. Sorry, not as well, because we had a milk chocolate shell in the last one. All on white chocolate. Top layer is a ganache, but the ganache has yuzu kosho. Does anyone know what yuzu kosho is? Yes, some. Okay,
no.
Lockie knows.
Go for
it. It's like a chili paste, right? It's not really fermented by much at all. It is salt-based fermentation, but it usually, when you go to, there'll be a lot of, ramen places, Japanese barbecue. There's a couple of brands that make this, and it's basically like a fermented chili paste. So red for like really hot chili, and then there's also a green chili version as well, right? The yuzu element is when they use a lot of yuzu peel in the idea of giving it that kind of tang and freshness in part of the fermentation. So if you're not sharing these packs and there's an extra piece there for yourself, I recommend trying this after the event without any whiskey. This is an unintentional troll. This is the quintessence of mild. If you aren't a person about heat, that's basically what this is. So the top layer has yuzu kosho added into the ganache. The bottom layer is wasabi infused sesame seeds, which has been grounded into a praline to then be the base for the texture for this, right? Because I think the whiskey, as you mentioned, you talked about dry spice, you talked about milk chocolate, right? I think of those when I first tried this whiskey, my instant reaction was more on the coastal notes that kind of felt like there was a cherry there that you could pluck from that tree, if that makes sense. I think there's sort of like a hidden gem by going down that route from the pairing perspective. So without further ado, please take a sip of the whiskey if you haven't already done so. Take a little sip. All right, I'm going to count you all in 3, 2, 1. Please bite half of that chocolate now. My favorite part is that initial freshness, right? It's creamy, it's soft, almost cheesecake-like, and then now that little tingle of the yuzu salt and that kind of greenness comes through, right? Still no chili quite there, but now you're starting to chew on that wasabi heat starts to show, right? It's like a mayo mixed with wasabi. It's very light, it's mild, it's soft, but then you're chewing, now you're getting a bit more sweetness from the dram and some of that dry spice. Now, please take a bigger sip with the whiskey and finish the rest of the chocolate. The evolution on this is probably my favorite. The coastal notes that we talked about, that light peat center with that beautiful butteriness from the sesame, right? That golden crunch is what I think of. I think of the Chinese sesame lollies with that wonderful crunch and texture, right? And then now it's developing some more. And now that yuzu, right? That little chili with the wasabi mix kind of like floating in between and dancing on the palate. You're probably salivating a lot more, and it just kind of finishes.
This is not like, even. I love the fact that we're now sort of strafing. This is not a chocolate anymore. This is like a wild version. You can't, like, to call that just chocolate would be the understatement of the century. But what I found fascinating about that first bite, for me, was all the wasabi, and then the second bite was all the sesame. So it was almost like a tale of two halves of that same chocolate, which is unbelievably weird.
I love that.
And then right in the middle, it's the whiskey, right? Yeah. Yeah, I really genuinely believe this is like quintessence of mild. You know, everybody's got that one friend that, you know, when Nando's was good, they could only do mild. You know, and you tolerated that, but then that's, you know, and they somehow stayed on the friends list, you know, and that's okay.
Oh, you've got so many comments here from Juanita. What is this sorcery? Well done, Krsna.
Thank you.
So unique. Super chewy sesame wasabi umami-ness. I love that.
Thank you, Corbin. Thank you. Thank you, Cask and Ashes and Juanita. And then, Miss Craig Morton is enjoying his little chili heat. Oh, no. This is... is that... Oh, that's Matt. Matt, we're not done yet. We got more. I'm guessing is Scare Driver who I'm thinking of up north?
It's Darren. And
yeah, it is Darren and Carla, right? Yeah, awesome. How good. Thanks, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the same as Dave on that one. The wasabi definitely came through more once I had it with the whiskey, and the sesame was first for me. So opposite to how Matt experienced it.
Yeah,
interesting how that happens, with different palates.
Yeah, I found the yuzu kosher came through on the first taste for me very prevalently.
Yeah.
The second taste was the sesame.
Very much the sesame, on the next part,
But that citrus just kind of stuck on all the way through. I mean, I've always said that yuzu is basically if you took salted lemon and fresh mandarin and put them together. That's exactly what yuzu is.
That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, just mix those together.
I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, that's what I've always said yuzu is. But it's that just shines throughout it, even with that sesame, that toasted sesame kind of character, almost like those sesame crisps or sesame biscuits, But with that honey and beeswax character from Matt's Task from the Beneficence of Bees, it's just so beautiful.
Wow.
Awesome.
And by the way, if you're interested in buying a bottle or any of the bottles tonight, we do still have complimentary shipping. Just use the code WhiskeyDad and complimentary standard shipping until tomorrow night.
That's pretty good. That one's still available, and actually the price on the Dunwich Nougat is still at the lower price Zach alerted me to earlier, which is kind of cool. So that'll go back to normal price for tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. And if you guys want any extra packs of these chocolates, I believe.
Yes. I was waiting for the 30 timer to run over, so I can actually now say that it's.
Perfect.
It's now on the website.
Hey.
Of course. So I had a very small amount left of ingredients, so we had to do a second batch. in when we did this. So there is 14 packs exactly available. So that's available on the website now. I think now that it's clicked over the 7:30, you can jump on www.basicchocolates.com.au if you want to grab one. It's also, I was just going to mention that, so everything, because it's already Wednesday and tomorrow's Thursday, so I'll be shipping everything on Monday first thing next week.
There's a QR code for your website right there.
Legends, thank you.
And Krsna, you worked, I mean, I don't think everyone realizes just how tirelessly you worked behind the scenes for this one. And, you know, we apologize for the 1 week delay. Unfortunately, you know, accidents happen. But,
yeah, well, I mean,
you know,
funny enough, the flavour that you guys just had was the one that gave me the most grief. So, basically, yeah, we had some equipment failure on our refiner, on our melanger. So basically the base of this device has sort of like a funnel tube, and it's completely disconnected. And in the process of that wasabi mix kind of not moving, but they're basically like whetstones. So we've done couvertures. You know, last year we featured our potato chip couverture and our croissant couverture and stuff like that. So you know, it just gives you. It's just one of those things where I probably could have avoided it, but didn't think too far ahead to realize that was going to be a problem. But anyway, it's all right. It's problem solved.
We're here. We're enjoying it. That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's it.
I find it fascinating that you're using a malaxa as well, because that's typically used for butter.
A melanger, yeah.
Melanger, sorry.
Yeah. So it's so I have used it for couvertures. We use it for all our pralines, all our nut paste. We do it all ourselves, right? Like, unless it's something, you know, specialty, like in this particular instance, the wasabi sesame seeds. But I think it's just easier from a perspective of knowing exactly what you want from an outcome, you know, and I think because BASIK, for us, it's about, I wouldn't say it's not really about redefining anything. I think it's just more about really making sure that we do define things correctly when we put it inside a bonbon. So, you know, if I say it's, you know, that, but then we're sourcing it from, you know, we're kind of buying all of these things pre-made elsewhere, you know, I think there's less opportunity to being able to hero some like really unique producers that we do get a chance to work with locally as well. So I feel, yeah, so that's kind of, I suppose, the reason why we have some of these little bits of equipment around as well.
Yeah. It seems like you've got a very precise operation going on.
It's funny. I've got Zach, another Zach, who's a videographer, who's standing there, who just started laughing his ass off at what you just said, because I don't think we're that precise as everyone thinks it to be. I think the thing is, it's like there is a process in finding what that goal is, but I think it's less calculated than everyone thinks it is.
Art versus science.
It always is. As long as it looks like it on the outside, you know, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I have a question now, Krsna, because we've got one order on the menu, and then we've got another order on your chocolate menu. Is this a chronological order that you've put down on your chocolate menu? So are we going rarely?
Yes, correct. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. So
have I mixed up Furtive Gherkin on another list on the order?
No, not at all. It's just for everyone watching at home. This is the next dram that we'll be doing, Furtive Gherkin.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Okay.
I'll let you guys talk about Furtive Gherkin while
I've just re-nosed this one. That's a phrase now. I'm coining it. And
Renosed,
and it is just so filthy. It's such like a filthy martini, super briny.
When this got released, I absolutely fell head over heels for it.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, phenomenal whiskey, absolutely.
So this was the for the Highland Whiskey Festival 2024. This was one of our small batch single malts, and I believe at the time it was one of the oldest, if not the oldest, from this distillery in existence.
It was,
Yeah.
It was.
Well, they're only just released 10-year-old spirit 6 months ago.
Yeah,
so it's very it's even this is still quite old for them, but I've noticed over the years as their spirit gets older, it just picks up more and more sort of syrupy notes, and it becomes a bit more sort of viscous and
I've noticed that they've started to pick up, those like tinned pears, that syrupy tinned pear kind of thing, or SPC fruit cup kind of spirit character.
I guess it's kind of cool to live at a time when I guess a new world distillery is just progressing and gradually releasing older and older whiskey, and so in real time you get to see how that whiskey is changing and developing when bottled at an older age, compared to a distillery that's been around for already 100 years or even more. And so you can go back and try different expressions, but to actually try them in real time as they're being released is something else, I think.
Definitely.
I absolutely
like watching
love
a child grow up.
I have a heart shape with this distillery. I don't think anything has been disappointing out of them.
No.
I agree
Very cool.
entirely. I've had a very loving and long relationship with this distillery.
My take on it was always is their peated spirit is good. Their unpeated spirit like this is just phenomenal.
Yeah, exceptional.
So,
And whilst this was a small batch single malt and not a single cask, it's important to note this was entirely first fill ex-bourbon barrels. This was just one type of casking, and it would have been 2 or 3.
Yeah,
maybe a few more, but
I think it was 3 or something, or 3 or 4, maybe a few more actually.
Yeah,
about 5.
Big outturn.
5 or 6. There you go.
But the spirit's good, and I think, is it the dirtiest martini is a question that we should be asking ourselves, but also one that maybe we should try as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Krsna, take it away.
Let's do it. Okay, so this, believe it or not, I think this is distillery 149. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. I think distillery 149. I think from what I've tasted. And Matt, I think kind of you nailed that in the sense that they're unpeated spirit, but I think it's always got this sort of forward punch in flavour, right? Before you kind of taste the nuances that come through and follows through afterwards. And I don't think it's subtle per se. It's definitely present, and you can kind of clearly identify what those nuances are. So the challenge for this one was how do we use something to really amplify all those nuances without distracting from the core and essence of that spirit, right? So I think this is what may seem like a bold flavor combination because of what it is. And yes, I literally emptied out 2 jars of McClure's Pickles brine water to make this gel. It is it's not easy to actually make a gel that's basically got vinegar based. So in case anyone doesn't know, so with all our gels we use a fruit based pectin, right? In a confectioners or chocolatiers world it's called yellow pectin. That's the easiest way. You've got pectin NH, you've got all sorts of different pectins that are out there, and so yellow pectin has a setting agent where when the acidity of said sort of liquid or that what you're trying to gelify, so to speak, is anywhere between, I think it's 2.9 to 3.4 in pH, right? So when you're doing gels like this, The hardest part is actually getting it to literally touch the end of the 3.4, so to speak, so that it just sets. Because when you got something like vinegar, your pH is a lot higher, it's not lower. So the challenge is trying to find a balance between acidity. So using just Meyer lemons as a way to hone in on the sweetness without having a higher percentage of that sort of acidic mouthfeel, I would say, like just, to picture this. The next thing as well is actually using lemonades because of the sweetness there that it has in order to kind of, bring it together and to keep it to like that dirty sort of martini gel. The next thing I gotta thank is Zach. You've parted ways with our Brisbane dear friend Tim Grant from Peated Perfection. We can thank him for the donation of 100 mils of sugar kelp gin from Isla Harris. So I've added that to the ganache.
Tim actually,
so it's a bit more on the sweeter side.
Actually.
Yeah. That's it. I wouldn't be surprised. And so basically, Jesus, Matt, like you really scraped the bottom of that one. Distractions aside, so yeah, I think the sweetness that you're going to get from this is going to be a lot from more so the gin itself. Because as much as it's a 40% gin or 45% gin, it's not really that intense. So we're going to be reliant on the spirit of 149 itself to be the carrier force for this. So without further ado, this one's a kaleidoscope of flavors. So I think from what I was tasting, there's a lot going on. So bear with me. But please take a sip of your whiskey if you haven't already done so. And when you're ready, 3, 2, 1, please bite half that chocolate now. Arguably the fun part, right? That instant burst of the gel, right? Covers the entirety of the front palate. You've got that light acidity, that dirtiness from the brine. Then you got a little bit of that reminiscence of that dill sort of like tech flavor. And now the sweetness and the creaminess comes through. Finish the rest of the chocolate. It's quite wet. And finish more of that whiskey. This is my favorite part, is that heat and the warmth from Distillery 149, that furtive gherkin really coming to shine. You got the dirtiness, the funkiness. It is a dirty martini. It's got that heat. It's got the warmth. But now the salt all through at the end. But like clean sea salt. All on the back palate. Super savory. Very delicious. Light smoke. A little bit more of that chew on the back palate as well in terms of texture. And then it just kind of eases away like your end of the day at the beach.
I will say,
thank you,
Krsna, that is definitely right up my alley. That is fantastic. You said Meyer lemon, the Meyer lemon, almost curdy kind of style sweetness that comes off that. Paired with that salty dill, that and the seaweedy, briny element, fantastic. Yeah, that was mine so far. That was fantastic.
Awesome, thank you.
That was a good pairing.
Worked really well with the vanilla as well. The sweetness and the salt really merged really nicely.
So, I should add that is a typo because the vanilla was added in something else, and I forgot to change that when I sent that to print. So there's no vanilla in this at all. There is only the sugar kelp. It's only the sugar kelp gin that we're relying on in the ganache. Wow. So it's literally a white chocolate ganache. Okay. Yeah. So the gel would have sugar, right? Obviously, because it needs sugar in order for it to formulate that. So think of it as, okay, if you're making so I always look at it as jam, jelly, and jelly means higher sugar, no fruit, like no fruit mass. That's like from a technicality standpoint, that's what it looks like. So here we're just using just lemon juice and the brine water as our like liquid, and then sugar, pectin, etc. Glucose would be in there as well.
I wasn't catching a whole lot of sweetness from the brine itself.
You won't because so it'll be the formulation of everything coming together, right? But I think most of it is going to come from predominantly most of it's going to come from the sugar kelp gin later on, because that's think about it, it's like when we talked about the first pairing, right, where we had spices in the gel, so it's fleeting and it just kind of goes away really quickly. But in this case, it's kind of the same thing, right? So the saltiness and the brininess of the gel is it's present, but it's not there for too long because the gin is taking over the second layer where all that fat is, because it's in a ganache, right, with butter and cream and all that sort of stuff. So that's, I guess that's when you think about sequencing, that's, as opposed to having like, this going on, it's kind of like, that's...
And that Maya lemon joining up with that white chocolate ganache just made it taste like salted lemon curd. It was fantastic.
So the very common notes is it even gives you the mouthfeel sometimes of cheesecake. So very common. Like if you've ever seen me do a lemon-based flavor, even when we do things like we've done things with like Sudachi lime as well, and if there's a white chocolate ganache, I think the acidity generally causes you to have that mouthfeel, especially with a pairing for a higher ABV spirit, especially like whiskey. It tends to give you this really prevalent cheesecake note. And I think Matt, you would have had versions of that sort of play style in previous pairings, and Adam as well. So without a doubt.
Well, acid and alcohol will make you salivate as well, so it creates this certain texture in your mouth regardless. We do have a couple of questions here that I think we should really dive into. So we're starting off with one that's actually for Matt, and I think you've read it already.
Where did this all start? I mean, where did this relationship with BASIK start 6 years ago? You know what, Krsna, I actually can't exactly recall, if I'm being honest.
I can.
Oh, good.
Feel free to share.
But it's all right. The question got asked at Bailey's, so. But no, I'm joking. No, you actually called me in the second half of the year in 2019, when I actually had just kicked off BASIK Chocolates as a on the way of being a full-time brand. I had done a tasting somewhere else, I think, and kind of put my hand out for something else, and then for a private event, I think, and that's how you got my details. And then in 2020, we said that we were going to work together. We talked about it at the start of the year, and then, of course, we all know what happened in 2020. And then we ended up, I think after that, we ended up fast forwarding on to the start of, in December, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. We did it. Yeah, we did a December run, I think, from memory.
We'll grab a couple of other quick fires here from Craig Morton. Also asks, what's the creative process? What happens in your head as you dream up a match for each dram?
I don't know. It's really hard. I'm hyper visual, so it's very hard for me to explain to you, like, as if like I don't really like. I'll write what's on my mind. So I've always done it this way, especially with SMWS is probably like the easiest benchmark in terms of like being able to just go outright creative and just not have any barriers in terms of where I want to go and how I want to decide on things. So I taste the dram, I write down notes, and then Matt always sends me a table of his notes that aren't the notes that are written on the bottlings itself. And I just cross-reference that to make sure that I'm on kind of the right path, or whether my palate's fucked. And sometimes if I have a funny feeling that it is buggered for whatever reason, or I might have eaten something that might have screwed around with my process, I'll kind of reserve that little bit to come back again, and I'll try it second time. But generally speaking, I prefer first impressions, because it's kind of like the naked truth to then, kind of beelining to where you want to go. And I think the other thing that's really beautiful about, I suppose, the SMWS way of looking at flavors means I get to kind of pick a direction that is, I suppose if you've looked at most of the directions that I go for, I'm generally picking a primary note and a secondary note, and then I'm kind of theory crafting from there of how I want to go. But then there's an instinct which comes with the obsession, and the obsession is flavors and pairings. So that part I can't explain that. I've been asked to explain that. It's nearly impossible because it's almost like a motor skill for me, right? Because my brain just goes, what if I think I can do this, and this, and I reckon this will be right. And the thing is, I have to, for me, because I'm such a small outfit, I don't have the liberty in most instances to do 3 versions of that before I land on the right one. And chocolate, as you guys all know, is in short supply at the moment. There's a global shortage. Prices, I think at the moment for me, it's 220% up just over 14 months or 15 months in chocolate prices. So, like even Kovic's, right? Like Kovic's now, like cocoa butter is like, it was liquid gold back then. It's beyond that now. I don't even know what it is now. I think someone made a joke to me and said that they reckon that cocaine has better stability in pricing than chocolate at the moment. So I don't know. I don't dabble, but it wilds me out that someone made that comment to me. But like it's so hard to do a Kovic now because it's so expensive. But then I suppose with this event, because we've always kind of featured something really special and unique with SMWS, and I think this is the right place to do it if we're going to do it. And that's our crescendo to end the night as well. So, in terms of creative process,
number 4.
I can't.
Let's move on to number 4, which is pina colada, which is the sort of lime green coloured ones in your boxes, folks. They look a bit like this. Lucky if you got those titles. Here we go.
Yes.
Here we go.
And so, yes, with that we're doing Blackbeard's Booty.
Yep.
66.238.
Yeah.
236? 238?
236.
238.
238.
238.
238.
Yes.
238.
Slight typo on one of the menus. That's all right. The liquid is still there. Krsna, this one's got an interesting backstory because, if I'm not mistaken, this chocolate pairing is the one that predates even us planning this pairing. Really, this goes back to December 2024.
Correct. So I reached out to Adam. I am not sure if it was Mr. Dov Burns or if it was someone else in the Outturn Messenger chat. Maybe it's Eshan. But they mentioned this rum, which I'm staring at in my cabinet. Oh, okay, cool. It's a 21-year-old. Do you remember the name of the rum, Adam?
Still crazy after all these years.
All these years, yeah.
That's the one. Yes.
R7.4.
Correct. So I can't read from this far away, but yes, I see it right there. But it is. I looked at the notes, I tasted the notes, I thought it was absolutely phenomenal, and I thought the best thing was if I could, I've done this kind of like a version of this before, where we used to, in the early days of BASIK, I used to buy a bottle of Dillard's Armagnac, and at the end of the year when Tassie cherries were in season, I would buy a box of Summercoats Farms cherries, get them shipped up, and then I would clean them all out, de-stem them, and then stick the Armagnac and the cherries together, and then wait for a whole year until Christmas, and then make a cherry Armagnac jam. So, but then this time I was like, I really like the rum and the profile of the rum. and I thought it was really unique. So I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna do the same thing. So this has been stewing away, I think, since I think I got it in January from memory when you sent it over. Yeah, so like literally week 1 of January, these cherries have been soaking in the rum for this bonbon, for this flavor. So obviously the usual suspects in a pina colada. I've got a pineapple gel, really simple, easy to understand. There is what I've done is I've reduced these cherries with that rum. So it's funny because the rum has taken on all the color of the cherries. It's literally like this guy, and it's a beautiful smell. I also did put a whole vanilla bean pod inside the jars, because I think I got like 2 jars out of this. And so I did that, and then I took out all the cherries, I de-seeded them, and then I just kind of let that simmer down for ages, for like a couple of hours. It took a long time, and then once it became like a thick syrup, it was kind of like my version of like a boozy maraschino cherry, and that's like my garnish inside the bonbon. So there's like a literal piece of this rum infused cooked out cherry inside, and then the base is a coconut ganache. I know that there's a lot of people here that are aware that I have a love for tonka beans, and so instead of actually using coconut, we're using tonka beans as our guise for the coconut notes and the coconut flavors. So yeah, I'll let you guys talk about Blackbird's beauties, so I can take a little sip.
Well, Corbin just said it seems very gentle for a peated profile. I mean, Lachlan, Matt, tell us. I mean, this is further matured in rum, so
yeah.
But the sweetness of the rum cask probably mellowed out that peat a bit, but it's still definitely peated.
We've seen quite a few 66 peated 66s. I mean, this is 238th cask from Distillery 66, and it is such a kind of. I've always said that their peat profile is almost like if you burnt chocolate to the bottom of a saucepan. You know, that like kind of earthy, wood smoky, but burnt chocolate kind of thing. That's their peat profile that I've always gotten from this distillery. I've always found it work really well in bourbon and in rum casks, because I've seen quite a few rum casks, especially through the society over the years. And when I first tasted this, you know how you, Krsna, you were saying that tonka bean is the way that you kind of mimic coconut flavor. In my previous life, doing cocktails and things like that, I used dehydrated fig leaves to do the same thing, because that smell is toasted coconut all the way through and through. And that's what
you know what you're gonna do. You know what you're gonna do with your dehydrated fig leaves one for next time is shave a little nutmeg and in some kind of like a whipped mascarpone. And you get that real nice like holy kind of Christmas note. I reckon that'd be dope for a way.
I really appreciated your explanation of how you enjoy doing things for the society, because it opens up the scope of what you can do and the creativity that you can draw from it. And as Matt and Adam both know, I did the exact same thing with all the cocktails I did with the society over that period. Absolutely love doing that, and I've found that same excitement and creativity of what you've done here.
Beautiful. Shall we dive into it?
Let's dabble. 100%. I'm just gonna say I think this is. I feel like this will be the winner for tonight. I just had it, and I had a moment. So we're gonna enjoy this. I'm really excited. So. As I mentioned, this is to emulate everything there is about a pina colada. So without further ado, please take a little sip of your whiskey if you haven't already done so. It is the green-coloured bonbon, of course.
Right, so lime green looking one, yes, that's the one.
Yep, lime green looking one to match our Blackbird's booty. 3, 2, 1, half bite. I see people already dabbling in. Bite through, there's going to be that little piece of cherry, yank that out and chew down on it. My favourite part's that beginning, right? It's almost instantly reminiscent of that first creamy froth that you get from a pina colada, right? Then the cherry kicks in and you got that sweetness, that little bite, and that lightness and the freshness as well that comes through from that sweetness from the jam as well as the pineapple as well. Now that little bit of that coconutty sort of mouthfeel and that light spice that comes through from both the blackbird's booty as well as the tonka beans. Now finish the rest of the chocolate and please finish your whiskey together as well. I love this part because it becomes even more concentrated, and now you really get that coconut rum mixture, right? Softer, sweeter, but still elegant somehow, despite that vibrance and the intensity you're feeling initially. And then it just kind of calms down. It just keeps going down in a layer of sense of calm. You get more of that kind of flavors from, I feel, that little bit of that peat linger, a little bit of that salt, and then the chocolate's kind of almost there. It's like a glide around your palate, and it's sort of like cleaning your palate on the sides as opposed to it actually carrying on with more. Super fun.
That comment about iced Vovo in a glass is
that's bang on.
That is such a killer combo, Krsna.
Yeah. That cherry, how long did you say you cooked it down for, just till you get to that really thick syrup?
I think it took about, because the thing is, look, most syrups, right, like people do like a 50-50. With this, I think I settled at about 14-15%, because, for starters, it's a fresh sort of bonbon where we're making it for this event, right? It's not designed for crazy shelf life. I think I would have to up the sugar if I was to bake this on a larger scale. But I think it took roughly about 4.5 hours, maybe 5 hours, at a really low temp. You got to remember,
The reason I'm asking this is that cherry still had so much texture and character to it after cooking it down for that long. And I'm assuming, low temp, but it just was so characterful.
I would say it's more like a poach, right, than it is like even like getting to a thick enough syrup where that sugar overrides. Because I think it'll be a waste as well, because then you don't get any of the essence of the rum that's supposed to be there. So I did put I should mention that there's about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the rum, of that cherry rum, that infused rum that's been added into the ganache as well, to kind of help it as a vehicle, like a bridge gap. So that's not a reduction. That's literally just a transfusion of that in order to kind of be the carrier. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun even trying that. That's cool.
That was great fun. I was really excited to try that when I saw the menu, when the delivery came.
I'm super curious about the rye whiskey pairing, and I threw in a rye whiskey because
this is either going to go fucking horribly wrong or.
I couldn't be more excited.
But I know exactly what you mean. I know in the past we've usually done rums pairings with your chocolates, so I thought, let's do a rye.
But we've done bourbon, haven't we?
We've done bourbon.
We've done bourbon, but we haven't done rye.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, because we did the orange with the Lipton tea sugar.
Yep.
For the live events, I remember, and then we also did. We've done Armagnac as well. I think
we've done Armagnac. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And now we're slowly going through all the single cask spirits. Wait for the gin next year.
Hey, look, I'm all for gins, man. Like the thing is, I think what most people don't like. I suppose for me, this is what I mentioned before. Like the fascination isn't about what the spirit is, right? Because I think the spirit is always going to have flavors, regardless of whether it's super polarizing, like my favorite rum of all time, Hot Shots, and I see you there, Matt. You'll never be forgiven. You'll never be forgiven.
Good.
And But I think, again, like, whether you do a gin or you do that, like, we've done La Strega Sambuca as a pairing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think if you start to have this, like, if you put a ceiling on what you think is your possibility, then you're already you're bunkered out, because you're going to have a bias that, like, cognitively stops you from being able to curate a different variant of pairings. So, like, this one will be, this is either going to be fucked beyond belief or it's going to be great. So I have absolutely no idea.
Fantastic.
I genuinely don't know.
I understand the mindset there. You know.
Yeah.
What is it? Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 100%.
Heard that once or twice.
Yeah.
So should we try the MSG?
Oh, sorry.
I'm so excited with MSG. This is RW 3.7.
3.7.
You know what? I'll say it. MSG not for the win for me, because it just doesn't. I just can't do it. It just doesn't react well with me. I need to drink like gallons of water all night, which means I need to pee all night, which means I don't get any sleep.
So the good news is there's no MSG in this.
Yes.
MSG only in name.
That's it.
Yeah.
And in mind, heart, and spirit.
Of course.
I have been. This is the one I've probably been looking forward to most. I think,
Okay.
as far as the chocolate goes.
Lead us through it, Krsna.
Hang on, I'm still going.
He's already 12 steps ahead of us.
He's just like living in the year 2050 out here. We're just,
Holy fuck. Okay.
It's 3031.
It's 4D chocolate.
I mean, this is technically being done over time, so this is 4D chocolate, I guess, isn't it? The time dimension is right now. All right.
Okay. Before we eat and drink, I need to kind of break this down for you, okay? So, I've mentioned the word covertures before. In the past, I've explained this in a more simpler way. You have different categories of chocolate, and I suppose the highest category on a regulatory standpoint, it's coverture. And what that actually means is there is cocoa butter, there's no added fats like palm oils, there's no palm sugars and things like that. So we're talking sucrose being sugar, so granulated white sugar, your cocoa butter, and then your cocoa mass or your cocoa solids, right? So being either cocoa nibs or the cocoa liqueur that you sometimes get, or cocoa powder as a mass. Now, when looking at white chocolate in sort of a more simpler way, there's obviously no cocoa solids or cocoa mass present because it's cocoa butter, but you have milk powder as your dry mass in that. So this can't technically be called a chocolate, but it has the same process of creating a couverture, and the shine that you see and the snap that you get from the shells that you've had today, all of that comes through from a good crystallization. The bastardized word that you guys might know of is tempered well. So when it's tempered well, you get that beautiful mirror gloss shine, and you get that beautiful snap, right? But in our world, it's when cocoa butter gets the beta 5 crystals. There's 6 types of crystals that can form in the process. Every single other type of crystal I don't want. The 6th crystal kind of can work, but it's really only for applied things, like something really specific. So, but beta 5 crystals is when everything locks in and you get that beautiful snap and shine. So it's kind of like, it's quite precise, so to speak, but there's also a lot of visual elements that you're kind of looking at the same time. So a few variables to control to achieve that process. So in this, instead of having white chocolate and an actual thing, so I've created a couverture here by, instead of using milk powder as my dry mass, I've gone and gotten 100% pure tomato powder. from an old school business in Victoria and Melbourne. They're called Foreign Foods. You can go look them up. It's pretty funny. They're so old, they send you flyers inside your order form that look like it dates to the 70s because it lists all their products that they use. So they do roll-dried spices, herbs, and fruit-based ingredients and things like that. I'm not sure if they're considered specialty, but roll drying is like the old school methods of like what we might use today. It's like freeze drying methods where it's in a vacuum and a vacuum chamber, and then they use like, some form of freezing thing. I wouldn't say it's not nitrogen, or liquid nitrogen, but something similar to that process in order to kind of then concentrate, strip away all the water out of the ingredient to concentrate the flavor, right? So roll drying kind of works in the old school way where the rolling pin, the center's heated and the steel on the outside's cool, so that when it goes down the middle, it gets kind of warmed up, but that way it doesn't lose its color. So the blue chocolate is the chocolate that we're looking at. So if you flip it underneath, you'll see the natural color of that tomato couverture underneath. That is it. That's literally what it looks like. So we've used tomato powder. So if you don't know anything about tomatoes, the natural MSG, that's why I've called it MSG for the win, right? So, it is a byproduct of where MSG comes from, or glutamic acid. And so that's the reason why I've done it. So it's a tomato couverture shell on the outside. Mm-hmm. The top layer is a lime gel, and then the bottom layer is a ganache with with freeze-dried basil inside of it. So yeah, we're talking tomato, lime, and basil. Literally, that's what it is, with a bit of cream, right? Amazing. So we're having a bit of salad with our chocolate habanero, right? So let's do it. Without further ado, please take a little sip of your whiskey if you haven't already done so, or your rye. Sorry, I should say.
Damn, that's good rye.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Please bite half your chocolate now. First things first, that lime gel, straight away. Punch, doesn't miss, and then it rolls off. Now you get the creaminess, you get the softness, and then my cameraman stopped the camera, so it's wobbling away, so you think you were having more fun than what's going on. And it gets more intense with the basil, right? That cleanness, that sweetness. And now the tomato starts to peel forward with a little bit of that creaminess. Finish the rest of your chocolate, please, and have a bigger sip of your whiskey. We're about to hit the biggest punch of all flavors that you could possibly get. That creaminess of the tomato, it's like that tomato and buffalo mozzarella or stracciatella kind of type moment. It's starting to elevate a little bit more. And then just about right now, big tomato chew, big punch, intense tomato. It's like a margarita pizza inside of a fucking bonbon. That's exactly what we just did.
I got so much.
And then you get the chili off the whiskey. You get that sweetness from the chocolate, and then you get the chocolate from the whiskey as well.
That might actually take
with a little hint of basil as well to
give it that kind of sweet. Yeah, I think the basil being freeze dried, it gives it that sweetness as opposed to the herbaceousness that you're kind of thinking of. Too.
I think it just plays off the lime jelly really well. That basil in that freeze dried basil
definitely
plays off the
does.
lime sweetness as well. And it just brings that earthy tartness that you find off the tomato. It plays really well with that. That might take the win for me. Yeah.
I think that definitely paid off, Krsna. Like that absolutely.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was incredible.
It was Corbin's
awesome.
winner.
Thank you.
We'd love to. I know there is one last chocolate which is not paired with the whiskey, but something special that Krishna's thrown in to do.
It is. Well, it's something that if you want to pair with the whiskey, you can. To give you an idea, in June, from our monthly tasting packs, I've been kind of working on sort of a series of an ode to Australiana snacks as sort of like a profile that I really want to put together as a core part of BASIK in the near future. So we did a Ice Vovo bonbon. We did a tropical splice, which was really, really, really fun. It's probably the most, if you're an Oloroso Sherry fan for Oloroso Sherry whiskey, it is the ultimate. It's like the perfect hybrid bonbon that just pairs with any kind of Oloroso Sherry style whiskey, like any of that kind of like nuttiness. It's like the perfect match to have that kind of like I would say like an opposing match in flavors for it. And then the third one, which is this bonbon here, if you've seen the colors on it, you might recognize what it is. Vegemite caramel with a Jatz Bicky praline and dehydrated cheddar cheese from King Island Spoke Dairy. So yeah.
Before we jump into this, I'd love for people to put in the comments, just throw it in the chat of what your favorite pairing was tonight, because that for us actually helps guide sort of future pairings that we do in this realm of sort of which one. Like there'll be your favorite chocolate, there might be your favorite whiskey, but just the overall 1 + 1 = 3 sort of moment. Which was your favorite?
I have two, which is the 149 and is it the Dirtiest Martini, and the RW 3.7 and the MSG for the win.
Feel free to put it in the chat.
Again, just your favorite. Don't do what Lockie just did and tell us two of your favorites. I mean, they're all they're damn good. But like, let's pick one.
I've got 5 favorites today.
Look, Lachlan, just lock the door at WNA so you can't get in, mate. Problem solved.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this Vegemite one.
That Vegemite one was fantastic, Krsna, and I think I'm gonna try my second one.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So it goes really well with very classic style ex-bourbon cask strength whiskies, I find, because generally speaking, a little bit more. But it's also what I've also noticed. It's also worked well with really big, bold flavors. I did test it with a mutual friend, Manu. I'll give him a nice shout out because he's always given me a good knowledge base for whiskey. We tried his one of his cask based whiskies, and we did it with that, and that was also quite unique. So it's just one of those ones because you've got that yeastiness, but it's not like too strong. It's just kind of just there, you know. But keep in mind, like that's like 2/3 of a jar of Vegemite in there. It's because it's a caramel and it's a butter-based caramel, so it's just got, you know, it's just gonna always have a lot of length, right? So you're always gonna have sweetness and butter first versus the Vegemite. So, but I think it's a perfect carrier, you know. So.
Krsna, tonight has been absolutely incredible, and thanks everyone for putting in your favourite pairings as well.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Amazing.
They're coming in thick and fast.
So many pina colada votes. So many pina colada votes.
Yeah. I'm seeing that. We've got a lot of pina colada votes, but it looks like surprisingly MSG for the win at the very end seems to be picking everyone through at
Quite
the
a
end
few dirty
for the
martinis
pairing.
as well.
The ride paid off.
Oh.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Krsna, again, it's such a pleasure working with you, and this is just such a highlight of the members' year and of my year as well. Of just being able to go through these, and I have, like I said, wasn't much involved in this one, but it was very much the fact of that means it gave me a sort of almost a very fresh perspective on all this. It was fantastic. Well done. Like it's
No, thank you. I'm very appreciative. Thank you all. I wanted to say something as well. I wanted to thank a lot of people on SMWS. There's some very, 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 very loyal, members here that have not only been, I think, since the inception and the very, very early days of BASIK, because essentially, thanks to Matt, that was one of our first sort of bigger platforms that we ever got to work with, was with the SMWS membership and the SMWS Australia crew, which you guys know I'm forever grateful for, and that is, I guess, the reason why we've continued on this journey and been able to kind of do some really cool things. So I have an immense amount of gratitude and a lot of thanks to each and every one of you that is on here today. A very, very big thank you. And also there have been a lot of people from the past as well that have come through for some of these live events. I know that it is in limited numbers and, and things like that. And, sometimes people miss out and stuff, but, there's always a next time, and there are other opportunities for us to do these sort of pairing events. But I'm always grateful to the people at the SMWS membership, and of course, and by extension to all of you guys as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Krsna. This is obviously always a highlight for members. They always look forward to it, and I think all the packs selling out in the first 20 minutes is a testament to that. So it's always a pleasure to have you on here.
No, I
it's always a pleasure to
you.
see what you come up with as well.
And
always, thank you.
Adam already said it, but use Whiskey Dad for the free shipping on any of the bottles that you tasted tonight.
That code ends tomorrow night. I'll just add in. Continue, Matt.
So. Yeah. And Adam, when's our next virtual?
Our next virtual is you got me off the top of my head. So it's on the 24th of September, where we're doing a mini SMWS at the virtual drive-ins. So September Our Turn is out in the wild. You can view it online, and the new bottles are on sale this Friday. That's in 2 days, including the next virtual pack. So virtual tastings are back. As you can see, we had a small break in July as we adjusted to a new team. Now we've got Zach back on board. We've got Matt Bailey back, and we're a full team, and we're ready to just give you some extra special service. There's got to be a better way to say that, but yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Matt's jolt is enough to be like, shit, Adam's in trouble now.
Oh no! I was just like, no, I'm just like, oh, now I'm going to live up to that. Great, he said it. We have to do it now. Great.
Let's go.
Good.
Man, Matt, I'm telling you, man, I've said this at every instance. You're half brown, man, because no one else would be like, oh shit, now we got to deliver than a brown guy. So yeah.
I'll take that. And on that strange note, I'll see you all later. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Krsna.
Thank you, Krsna. It's lovely to meet you virtually.
Likewise, we'll hopefully see you in Melbourne at WNA soon, mate.
Very soon. All right. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thank you.